Welcome to this advanced analytics discussion on the future of advanced analytics. So we've gone through this sort of introductory material. We've talked about the ethics and implications of that. We've talked about the broad overview of what it is, tons of data examples, probably too many. But let's look forward a little bit in what's coming down the pipe in this environment. Advanced analytics in healthcare is evolving like crazy, especially with large language models. Now, there will be a long period here where folks figure out what they're going to do with these, but they will be a massive part of the future. And together with the broader concept of generative AI. And the other key sort of like out there on the cutting edge item will be more real-time analytics. So a lot of the past has been analytics being used for evaluating historical trends, looking through previous patterns to figure out what to do about the future, and it will continue to evolve to be closer to real time, using as real time information as possible to make decisions and inform on what's going on in care environments. So some of those emerging technologies around that are LLMs. You've probably heard of ChatGPT, but there are even like Google has a specific LLM that's just for healthcare. Real-time and streaming data platforms are evolving and coming through by multiple platform providers, and I think there will be expanded use of the Internet of Things, IoT, which is wearables and devices, also having small brains themselves and using information and collecting information. So an overview of large language models, generative AI. If this is a newer concept, if you just head online and start searching LLMs in healthcare, you are going to find a ton of really interesting material and examples of what this is. But in overview, just high level, these are really powerful new AI models that can generate human-like text and images and video and audio and the like. It continues to evolve. So this overview will be outdated soon. It's probably already outdated. And it can help to use massive amounts of data and create data, generate useful information and output. So those applications where it's emerging of how it's being used is in automating the summarization of large pieces of information, like clinical notes, giant literature reviews, all sorts of things. It can ingest tons and tons of text data and make that into discoverable, simple summaries. It can be interacted with, ask different questions of those giant corpuses of text. It is also being put forward in clinical decision support. We talked about it earlier in the application of analytics. And so this is a place where LLMs are coming through to say, look at all of the notes from the patient, all of the lab results might be queued up and put in as an input to this. And let's look at literature and tell me, do you think this diagnosis in the that I believe is true is well documented, or is it apparent through the evidence of what's in the chart? So these are the types of things that are being evaluated as to how can we use it. There's natural limitations here. These are not just being adopted and used; they're being experimented with to see where can they be useful. Because the major concern, as most people know very famously with large language models, is that they can hallucinate. They can just lie to you. But there are because of that limitation, new methods and ways emerging of how can we ensure that that won't be the case. So it's evolving. I think it will continue to get more interesting and better. Another place would be emerging applications, intelligent virtual assistants. So being able to ask questions of a LLM that is preloaded with all of the most up-to-date evidence-based information, giving people something to interact with to ask basic health questions is a pretty obvious application folks are targeting to try to do, where they do have to handle that same issue I just talked about, but they're figuring out how that might happen. Real-time analytics and predictive health monitoring. So this is where continuous streaming data from a patient, like maybe their wearables or patients inputting something, is used to proactively manage their health. So some of the emerging applications here are real-time deterioration alerts for a hospital. We continue to gather and keep the vitals on a patient as they're in the hospital. We have tons of examples from the past where we have all these patients' vitals, and then we have a moment in time where they deteriorate. They become less healthy, they have an incident, they need extra care. So we can queue those up to use in an algorithm to say, okay, let's look forward at a new patient, and we are watching their vitals, and we might be able to get a more proactive alert that they are close to the point of deterioration, and hopefully intervene before it happens. Proactive remote chronic disease management is another really interesting area. You may have noticed the giant rise of folks with diabetes being able to wear a more real-time monitoring of their glucose levels. They'll often stick something to the back of their arm, which is getting more regular access to their blood and being able to input that forward into a device like a phone, where they can get an instant rating of their blood glucose more regularly. Along with that, as it's collected regularly, algorithms and data can be used to monitor when is it headed towards a dangerous place. So diabetes is an easy one that you've probably seen those devices, but there's other devices being used for heart disease and other issues that people live with on an ongoing basis, to figure out what can we monitor, keep track of, so that we can more proactively, up to date, give indications that they should be seeking care. So really interesting environment, really interesting place where this is being used. Another place more operational would be predictive staffing, or using data that we have and how the system is evolving to figure out where and how to move staff, how many we need, and where's the best place to put them. So those sorts of questions are being answered through more real-time monitoring of the system and how it is operating. Another advancement I mentioned was the Internet of Things. So wearables and devices becoming a mainstay, have already really become a mainstay of healthcare, but they are getting smarter, and the data they're creating is starting to be able to come together and be aggregated for use. So the future of healthcare is going to involve a even deeper integration of these wearables and in the digital health ecosystem. So some of the emerging applications you can think of now, we have many devices that are integrated into smart home platforms that do regular monitoring of our home for, today, more physical things like fire, water. If you're really advanced, may be able to lower your blinds, put your blinds up, change your thermostat. So lots of different monitoring of your home environment. And so folks are looking at how can we also monitor the health factors in your environment. So keep an eye out for that as a potentially very invasive, but data-rich environment to gather health information on folks. Next one, fully integrated patient healthcare provider platforms. So data more seamlessly shared between that Internet of Things, your wearables, and whatever else you might use for monitoring your own personal health and activity, being more accessible to your overall healthcare provider to figure out where and how to tailor your care and evaluate how you're doing based on more data than just that point in time when they can see you, but also based on what you're tracking already on your health. So I think that connection is going to continue to grow and be more and more integrated, especially by innovators. There's also the growth of things you may have seen in the retail environment of AI-driven coaching. The LLMs are really going to make evidence-based proactive health decisions like exercise a lot more human. Instead of just giving strict protocols, being able to interact with an AI that understands the best way to keep your health strong. um, that is going to continue. There's no doubt about it. There's already been a lot of companies cropping up over that concept. I believe really strongly in this because of the way I've been using AI is as a tool, not as a replacement for anything. It has made more efficiency and allowed folks that work in data to reach further into different technologies they haven't touched as much before, like being a coding buddy, helping create an application, even if you don't code yourself, but you can present the solution, the idea. You can get to a technical solution through new tools. So this is advanced analytics tools becoming more accessible. The word that's used is democratize, which is that more folks can do these highly technical things to solve real world problems. I think that is nothing but a benefit. There's risks there for sure, but I would highly encourage, if you've a far more technical mind and you're seeing the risks here, to start to lower your guard a little bit. Folks are going to do this, and getting business knowledge into the solutioning process for technical solutions can be really positive. So if you're more technical and you're already getting worried about what I'm saying here, start to think about how you can be a proactive or more of a positive partner in this environment, because there is so much value to unlock by putting tools in folks that have the business context and understanding of the problems that are happening. So you're seeing things like user-friendly no-code platforms, AI-driven insights integrated, standard into a lot of systems, and the ability to automatically generate reports and do self-service analytics. This is an area I think will continue to really grow strong in the next 5 years. So, given all that, and there's sort of the learning part of this journey, where should you put your time? That is a tough call, I know. But I want you to just start thinking about it. What could your role be? Where are you at now? Where are you headed? And so in that, I'll share these couple of things. Skills to build. I still think there is great value in building the interdisciplinary skills, not just the technical skills, because you're seeing the technical landscape of how these things are accomplished continues to evolve. Stay plugged in and look at those things, but think about how can I become a better problem solver with clinical knowledge, plus that analytical proficiency. Understanding those ethical frameworks and compliance standards can be a place where you can really add value. But the end, like most, hard to find, highly valued thing in all of this, and probably forever, is critical thinking. Critical thinking and the adaptability in this rapidly evolving environment is going to be the characteristic of everybody that wins. The winners will have this in common. And so being a strong critical thinker that is adaptable is what you are looking for. So in professional development, I would pursue any relevant certifications that would help you continue that education or those skills on the left. And any process or regular thing you can do to stay informed about what's happening and what's changing is a great idea. Whether that's a weekly review of news, a search or something, asking an AI to tell you what's newest would be a great idea. So how to prepare, stay current on that evolving analytics methods, embrace lifelong learning. That is the other intangible that I believe all winners in the future are going to have in spades. And then, as I mentioned, build this multidisciplinary expertise, not just the technical skill set, but clinical knowledge, healthcare knowledge to be able to use with your technical skill set. So you've got this huge opportunity. We are at an inflection point in the tools available and how they're used. So the people that dig in and are flexible, willing to learn, and ready to think are going to be the people who lead into the future. So I'm nothing but excited for you starting this journey, and I can't wait to see where folks can go with this. So, thank you for sticking with me on this. Final thoughts in closing. Analytics as a tool for good. It is absolutely possible to continue to improve patient care in so many areas through the ethical use of analytics. To do that, you're going to need to continue to learn new things because this is changing rapidly. So each individual can contribute and shape this future, and it's very exciting. So I'm excited to be able to be a tiny part, hopefully, of a few people's journey. Thank you for staying tuned to this introductory series, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part.